Hello YouTube, I'm back about a month later since my last review. I apologize for the wait, but this time I'm going to be reviewing the Hiya Toys Jungle Hunter version 2 Predator figure from their 3 3/4 line. Being that the Predators are very tall, it's closer to 4 inches. I don't have an actual ruler with me to measure the exact height, so I do apologize for that. But getting into the packaging, which doesn't seem to fit very well in this frame, we have Predator at the top. Let's go ahead and move this out of the way. We have Jungle Hunter version 2, which I believe the version 2 just means it's not the version where he's cloaked, and it's also not the battle damage version with the mask off, even though this does say battle damage. The only damage is really on his mask. Don't really know why they'd call it battle damage version otherwise. So getting a look at the bottom of the box, we have the figure himself, well, at least a frame of him, 15 and up. Then we have a look at the accessories. The box is a little dirty because I've had it for a while and haven't actually done the review when it's the day I got it. Of course, you can see the spine there for the accessories, the extra hands. There's a couple pegs for the base plate we'll get into. The side of the box just says Predator with their logo there. And then the other side of the box is exactly the same. Top of the box is just basically what's on the front. And then the back of the box has all your warnings. Same thing at the top as on all the other sides. Of course, more Hollywood stuff. And then two really nice pictures of the figure holding his accessory there as well. So that's all for the packaging. Bottom of the box, same as the top. Actually, I'm totally kidding. There is one more thing for the packaging that I will open up in 1 second. I wanted it noted that inside the box behind the blister packaging, you get this image on cardstock paper, nothing on the back. It's sort of just to display the figure in the box, but I thought if you wanted a cool framed promotional photo from the first film, that's pretty much what that could be. So that's all for the packaging officially. So for accessories, getting into the hands, we have a hand for him to hold his spine that he ripped out. Not much to that one, just kind of looks like a thumbs up. Of course, we have the spine itself, which has some weathering on it. And there's not much to it as well. No blood effect or anything, all cleaned up. There is, of course, a fisted hand for his left hand. Has a lot of white spots on it. Not completely detailed, but still do the job. I don't think I'll ever use it on mine. And then we have these two little clips for the final accessory, which clip in, haven't quite figured out how. There we go. So they clip in like this, so you can connect all of your base plates from your future figures as well. This kind of just looks like a little bit of mud, a little bit of rock maybe. There's one little peg there for the feet. I wish there was two because this figure has a terrible time standing up. I kind of wish they would have added some weathering, maybe some green to this, but of course you could probably do that on your own. So that's the biggest accessory, and that is all of the accessories. The figure is fairly light on accessories. Now, whoops, turn my light. The other two, I guess you could call them accessories, since hands are accessories, would be the two open hands that come on the figure himself. He does have, these are loose, all the bones, which I really don't remember in the movie, so I'm not sure why they included those, unless I'm remembering wrong, as many times as I've seen this movie. So we have those, we have one around his neck that I can't really get to. Right there. So there's 3 of these technically. Of course, the plasma caster. I don't think any of this is removable unless you want to take the whole figure apart. This does move. We'll get into that in the articulation segment. This is one solid piece connecting to the front, so you would have to pull all of that off if you wanted to take that off and maybe do a custom or something like that. So as far as detail goes, gosh, sorry about that. As far as detail goes, I only have one light and I need 2. Anyways, we'll ignore that. I only have one light, so I knocked that over. That's what that was. But the detail, which hopefully comes across camera a little bit better than I can see it in person. He has a lot of weathering, a lot more shading than I would expect on a figure this size, because of course this isn't a 7-inch NECA figure. And not sure if that came across camera or not, but I got a phone call, so hopefully it didn't pause. Anyways, we do have the gauntlets on both sides. The blades do come out a little bit for an extended pose. The bomb is unfortunately fixed. It doesn't open or close, the little cover for that. But as far as detail goes, this is a very detailed figure. I don't really know what else to say about it, except for it exceeded my expectations when I opened it out of the packaging, because I was not expecting a figure that is currently around $14. I don't remember the exact price of mine, but I got it from Big Bad Toy Store for less than $20 for sure, and I want to say it was honestly around like $13, so I could have gotten two for less than the price of a Marvel Legends pretty much. So some of the predlocks, or you know, whatever you want to call them, dreadlocks, they do move a little bit for head articulation, but still not going to be great. But we'll get into the articulation now. For the articulation of this figure, I do not want to break him, so I'm probably not going to push him as far as I would like to, because I'm actually scared of breaking him, because when I first tried to pose him up when I opened him the other day, he kind of felt like I was going to break him. Not really flimsy, but I just have a tendency of breaking things, and I don't really want to force the joints. So that being said, let's get into the head articulation here. So of course, you know, neutral pose, it can sort of pull up a little bit. Don't really know if that's actually supposed to do that, but you know, without popping the head off, you can pull it up a little bit to get more range out of the head and the neck. He doesn't really look back as much as I would want him to. This is about the extent of that. To look up, you're gonna probably want to use the legs and the abs a little bit to get them to look back further. Down, kind of the same thing. That's about as far as I can get them without trying to break them. There is 360, but of course the hair is going to get in the way, so that looks about as far as I would want it to. The plasma caster, like I said, moves a little bit. This doesn't really swivel. The only movement it has is up and down here, and you can rotate it 360, but I'm not going to because I don't want to break that little peg in case it gets stuck. So you can rotate it. It doesn't really move down as much as I would like it to, but it definitely moves up a little bit. So there is visible movement, just not as much as I would like. I was hoping for more of an extended outwards this way, and then maybe down a little more, but oh well, maybe I'm expecting too much. So for the arms, you kind of have to be careful because these are kind of, I don't know, I don't want to say flimsy, but they could probably break if you push them too far. So the arms do go up all the way, and then they do, if you can kind of, they do go up as much as you would want them there on both sides. So you do have 360, and that does kind of move out of the way as you just saw there. And then of course you can put these back down and then finesse these to get them to stay. This 360 at the bicep, but I don't really want to break it. It's kind of tight right now. You can probably see it better on this side. So yeah, 360 here, bicep, and then of course both of those go 360. Sorry. On the inside of the shoulder, of course that turns, but then if it wasn't sticking right now, you can finesse it to get the bicep swivel to go 360 as well. It does have double jointed elbows, which are mostly unpainted on the inside. It looks like it has metal. I don't know if you can see that right there, a little bit of metal for the joint. It is pinless, which I do appreciate. So the forearm elbow articulation goes about that far. And then of course you can move that down. There is rotation here. And then like I said, if we move the hands out of the way, can extend these. I believe you can take this off actually. Ooh, I just learned that. I didn't know that the other day. So if the hand wasn't there, you could probably remove the gauntlet completely. It looks like it's a completely separate piece, which is actually quite nice. So you can get him in whatever pose you want to get his arm into for sure. Now enough about that. Like I said, this doesn't open. I wish it did. That would be really cool if there was some paint or printing on the inside of that. For the countdown, of course, you get 360 at the hands. They do move a little bit forward and back, but are hindered ultimately by the gauntlet. So, yeah. And then for the chest, you have a little bit of lean. Actually, not much at all. A little bit of back movement, and then you get a little bit of front as well. Not a lot of movement here. You do get rotation though. Could be 360, so you can get kind of like the quick turnaround, what the hell was that pose that he does when something explodes and it wasn't him. Honestly, my favorite pose that they do. Anyways, so there's no real forward and back here. Just your standard, thought I just broke something, 360 here. And there's not really a lot of tilt there either, so you don't get too much movement there, but you do get some. Now these would go 90 degrees if these would move out of the way, but I don't really want to break that. So if you don't want to break it, about 45 is all you're really going to get out of that, and then slight back as well. This is softer like rubber as well, so you can kind of move it back a little bit, but you're not going to get much movement out of the legs as far as front and back. Now sideways you do get a decent amount there, and then of course you put those down. You get double jointed knees, which are quite nice. They do have a little more molding there, so it doesn't look completely gapped out. And then the shin guards, of course, break there, so you have a little bit more realism. And then I just realized there's a lot of shading and weathering effects, I guess battle damage, since it is the battle damage version, all over his shins, which is cool. Now for the part that I hate the most is these feet. So they do have almost like a shoe bottom, is the only way I can think of it, because he is, I don't know if he's actually wearing shoes or not, but it kind of looks like those are straps there, right there, and then the bottom of course is painted. So they do pivot forward a little bit, and then they go back down about that much. But when I first opened these, they were super stuck, so I thought I was going to break them, so I couldn't rotate them for a little bit. But now they do go 360, and there's like no side to side movement there. But the problem I have with them is when you try to stand them up. Let me see if I can get a good frame here for you guys. Sorry, I know this is super unprofessional. Even though he's top heavy, okay, of course he's standing now that I want to show somebody else, but even when I played with the top heaviness of him and tried to like move his arm forward, balance him out a little bit, try not to put all the weight on that, he still decided to fall over on me quite a few times. But of course, now that he's on camera, he's not going to. So he does fit on his stand nicely. Of course, he only has one peg, like I said, which is kind of disappointing. But you can get him to stand up like that, but he always falls on me too. So he is kind of finicky to get him to stand up. I wish I could prove that, but you know, always fails whenever you're trying to show someone else that something is wrong. But for my final verdict on this figure, I'd give it a solid 9 out of 10, except for the fact that he doesn't stand very well. He has decent articulation for what you would want him to do for the size of the figure himself. He has great paint apps, lots of weathering, which I would not expect off a figure that size. Since I don't have size comparison, because I don't have any other Hiya Toys Predators, which I will probably get in the future, Any recommendations for those you could put in the comments below. I plan on getting the cloaked version of this one and the unmasked Jungle Hunter as well. Maybe all of the AVP Predators, because I do like those, the designs of those. And then any other figure that they have. But that's going to be it. Hopefully this was a short review. I'm not going to edit it too much. And this should be posted in the next 5 minutes as of September, what is it, the 5th? Tuesday? I don't know. Who knows? I'm kind of crazy today. Sorry, guys. Anyways, goodbye.